beautiful people. Anita, Set Apart, Tabitha. Hey, girls, hey. Grab my water just in case I need a sip. All right, beautiful people. Martin, shalom, brother, shalom, shalom. All right, beautiful people. Let's get right to it. Running a few minutes behind. I came and got everything started early because I knew I might be running a few minutes late, so y'all probably been waiting. Thank you for waiting. Auntie, family, shalom, shalom. Y'all, it is Wednesday, August the 17th, 2022, day 188 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1206. We picking back up in the Ark of Bond on page 450, learning about China, who the continent China, or the landmass of China, was named after. All right, beautiful people. Father, teach us the discipline of heaven and earth and the wisdom and the understanding to walk in it all the days of our life. All right, beautiful people, take five. Bless up, bless up. All right, y'all, so let's get started. Chapter 26. So remember yesterday, starting off, he was just giving us some little tips on keeping yourself, let's just say, modest and clean. Right? Okay. Don't be a festering stink house. All right, chapter 26. Page 450. Oh, and it gave us all the background of Chine, and he was born in Iasu, right? He could hear the voice of Jehovah, the Great Spirit, and he could see, he could prophesy, all that good stuff. Kindred, shalom, shalom. All right. Chapter 26. Jehovah said unto Chine, now will I stir up the nations. Through thee will I show them the glory and dominion of my kingdoms. For thou shalt walk without feet, write without hands, hear without ears, see without eyes, and thou shalt rise in the air as a bird, and by thine own will go whithersoever thou wilt. Craig, shalom. And thou shalt bring down the thundercloud, and at the sound of thy voice the rains shall fall. And thou shalt say, go away, ye clouds, and the sun will shine in the place thereof. And thou shalt come to some that are hungered, and thy voice shall rise up to me, and I will send down from heaven the food of heaven, and thy people shall eat thereof and be appeased. And thou shalt stretch up thy hand over the dead that are ready for the furnace, and they shall come to life again and be made whole. For these are the testimonies that thou art my servant, and hast kept my commandments, in which thou shalt say to them, behold me, I am but a man. Why fall ye down before the gods and worship them? For I charge you, O all you people, ye shall not worship me, nor call me but a man, striving to do the will of my Father, the Creator. For whosoever becometh one with him, to such a man are many miracles possible. Howbeit, I declare unto you, they are not miracles in fact, but possibilities granted by Jehovah unto the upright who serve him in act and in truth. Get them highlighters out early, people. Levon, blessings. I'll read this again. And as we become disciplined in spirit and soul and body, there's a lot of things that'll be made available to us, right? Things that people call miracles are not miracles. You just have a little lack of understanding of the elements, right? Verse 9, page 451. For whosoever becometh one with him, with who? The Creator, the Great Spirit, Jehovah. Some of us call Yah, right? For whosoever becometh one with him, to such a man are many miracles possible. Howbeit, I declare unto you, they are not miracles in fact, but possibilities granted by Jehovah to the upright who serve him in act and in truth. Jehovah said to Chine, and when thou hast shown these things unto many, know thou thy time on earth is finished. For I will cast thee in a trance, and the people shall bewail, saying, Alas, he is dead. And they shall cover thee, and cast thy body into the furnace in the way of the dead, and the fire shall blaze and consume thy body before them. But thou shalt have previously bid them watch by the furnace. For thou shalt gather together the elements of thy burnt body and restore them, and again inhabit it and go about preaching before men. Clearly, none of us who don't get control of our flesh will be able to do this. Mom, shalom. Hold on, let me put this in here. Make myself a note. And let's not forget he was an Iesu, right? No passions for the flesh, right? You can't even get on this level if intimacy is still your main thing. Not that it shouldn't be, but as you get older and you develop a little bit more, maybe it's just you by yourself now, whatever. You could possibly attain to this level. But while you're still in the throes of passion, this particular level you may not be able to ascend to. Listen, let me read this again. Verse 10, page 451. Jehovah said to Chine, and when thou hast shown these things unto many, know thou thy time on the earth is finished. For I will cast thee in a trance, and the people shall bewail, saying, Alas, he is dead. And they shall cover thee, and cast thy body into the furnace in the way of the dead, and the fire shall blaze and consume thy body before them. But thou shalt have previously bid them watch by the furnace, for thou shalt gather together the elements of thy burnt body and restore them, and again inhabit it, and go about preaching before men. Therefore, get thee ready, declaring these prophecies beforehand, that they may be testified to by men, and so be recorded in the libraries of the kings and queens. Chime related unto the congregations of the faithists, the true Zarathustrians, what OAHSPE, Jehovah, had said, and many of them wept bitterly. In years prior to this, when Chine had traveled and preached by the voice of Jehovah, he visited the kings and princes and rich men in many regions, and whilst he was thus speaking, rebuking them for their governments and for their possessions, they took no part against him. But afterward, when he was gone, the kings and queens and nobles said, Chine hath preached a dangerous doctrine, for he said, Thou shalt have no king but the Creator, who is king over all. Will not this set our slaves against us? And will. And if the people go into communities of their own, ignoring the king, where will the king find his revenue? And there were priests of deists and of other gods, and speakers in the temples, oracles, where the gods wrote on sand tables. Besides these, there were seers and prophets without number, and the king, being on the alert, went into the matter, inquiring of the spirits as to whether the doctrines of Chine were true. And some of the spirits said, There is no all person. Behold, we have visited the stars and the sun, and looked far and near, and we saw not any creator or all person. There is no great spirit save Tan, who was a one-time mortal, who hath risen to power in heaven and earth. And other spirits said, There is nothing in heaven that ye have not on earth. How shall we find OAHSPE? Waste not your time with Chine and his doctrines. He will overthrow your kingdoms. Eat, drink, and satiate your desires, for these are the sum and substances of all things in heaven and earth. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. TZ, king of Ashon, the capital city of the province An Napo, was withal a great philosopher, had previously heard Chine preach, and was greatly interested. Sometime after this, a magician, Lucin, visited Tezi, who told the magician about the wonders of Chine. The magician listened to the king's story, and the king asked the magician whether he could himself, in addition to his sleight of hand, manifest wisdom in words like Chine, and if so, How could it be attained? Lucen, the magician, answered, Tezi, O king, thou knowest not how thou hast embarrassed me, thy servant. For when we were young, and finding we have the natural powers for a magician, we go before an adept to be taught all the mysteries of the order, and here we take a most binding oath, never to reveal by hint or word or mark or written character anything that will reveal any of our signs and mysteries, binding ourselves under great penalties which I cannot name to thee. Know then, O king, I can answer all thy questions, and am desirous to serve thee, but what shall I do? The king said, I, being king, absolve thee from thy oath. The magician said, compared to my power, though I only beg from door to door, thy power, O king, is but as chaff before the wind. And my subtle realms are the keys of all dominions. Not only do I and my craft rule over mortals, but over the spirits of the dead. My oath, then, is too great for thee to absolve, for I cannot even absolve it myself. Tezi, the king said, Since then thou canst not do all things, and especially absolve an oath, thou art not sufficient for me to deal with. Lucen, being desirous of earning something, said, As for that, O king, I tell thee I cannot reveal all, for the virtue of my art dependeth much on its secrets and mystery. Nevertheless, as I am very poor, I might reveal an index to thee, to which, if thou wouldest apply thyself diligently, thou mightest attain the remainder. The king thereupon commanded him to perform before him, agreeing to award him according to the decree of the fates, spirits. And Lucen at once fell to work, performing wonderful feats, such as causing the tables and seats and desks to move about and roll over, and to cause voices to speak in unseen places. He also changed rods into serpents and caused birds to sit on the king's shoulder. And he changed water into wine, and also brought fish and laid them on the floor at the king's feet. The king said unto him, All these things I have witnessed from my youth up. Show me. I was about to say something, but I just laughed at it myself, and I'm going to just keep going. The king said unto him, All these things I have witnessed from my youth up. Show me now, while thou remainest here, how thou canst see into my neighbor's house. The magician said, Yea, O king, but for that feat it is necessary to enter the state of the Holy Ghost, trance, and the price is expensive. The king said, I will pay thee. Therefore, enter into the state of the Holy Ghost. You know, I got to use this for the title today. Bonita. I'm sorry. Benita. Oh, you know what? I thought you was Shebrew. Shebrew is Bonita. Benita, shalom, sis. Shayla, hey, girl, hey. Elijah. Jamil, hey, girl, hey. Let me go back up here. Verse 24 on page 451. The magician said, Yea, O king, but for that feat it is necessary to enter the state of the Holy Ghost, trance, and the price is expensive. The king said, I will pay thee. Therefore, enter into the state of the Holy Ghost. Lucen turned his eyes and gave a shudder as one dying. Lord, I just thought about this one lady, this church I used to go to, right? I don't think she'll ever watch my video. Her name was Miss Sophia. Every time she caught the Holy Ghost, she did this whole eye shuddering and jerking and just fell back on the floor. But what was so funny about it is every time she would go head into the floor, y'all, I kid y'all not, this lady would grab her wig so it wouldn't fall off. I'm like, she playing. She in here playing in the Lord's house. I used to go to church some days when I knew Miss Sophia was coming to church. Look, and I was grown. Look, I was grown with two of my kids. We would sit back and laugh at her. Not like laugh at her, but it was funny that she would actually come to church to do this. And we all be sitting around like, all of the younger couples, me and my husband, like, oh, there she go. There she go. Look, she about to go down there again. I'm like, this woman, I was still saying God, and I said, God gonna strike her down right in the pulpit. One of these days, her wig gonna catch on fire as she heading to the floor. Listen, Lucen turned up his eyes and gave a shudder as one dying. That she would be like, and do just like that, like somebody having a seizure or something. Boy, I tell you. Lucen turned up his eyes and gave a shudder as one dying, and having stretched himself on the floor, bade the king question him. The king said, Here is chalk. Mark thou on the floor the character which is on top of my... Hold on, let me read that again. The king said, Here is chalk. Mark thou on the floor the character which is on the top of my tablet on the left of the throne. Thereupon the magician marked correctly. And now again the king tried him as to his power to see without his eyes and in far off places, and having proved him in many ways, the king said, Canst thou also show the spirits of the dead? Lucen said, Of a truth I can, O king, but that requires me to enter the sublime state of creation, and is even yet more expensive. The king said, Have I not said I would pay thee? Go to, then, enter thou the sublime state of creation at once. Lucen then went into a dark corner and laid himself down on the floor, and then swallowed his tongue and was motionless and stiff, like one that is quite dead. Presently, a light like a thin smoke rose up from the body and stood a little aside, and a voice spake out of the light, saying, Who art thou that callest up the spirits of the dead? Beware, he whose body lieth stiff and cold beside me is one of the heirs of the immortal gods. What wouldest thou, man of earth? The king said, Who art thou? The voice answered, I am Jos, ruler of heaven and earth, the great spirit personified, creator of all things. The king in satire said, Thou art welcome, O Tan. I am one of the most blessed of mortals, because thou hast made my place a holy place. The spirit then assumed mortal shape and stood before the king, even whilst the magician's body lay on the floor in sight also. The spirit said, What question is it that troubleth thee, O king? Speak thou, and I will answer thee, for I am all wisdom and truth personified. And that's where I'm playing around. You're going to get somebody other than the creator. Y'all out there playing. Because the creator ain't going to do this. You ain't going to pay him for some cheap parlor trick. And neither will any of his true servants allow themselves to be used for this foolishness. Alicia, yeah, hey girl, hey Francis. Love, power, and wisdom. Page 452. Let me go back. Verse 34. The spirit then assumed mortal shape and stood before the king, even whilst the magician's body lay on the floor in sight also. The spirit said, What question is it that troubleth thee, O king? Speak thou, and I will answer thee, for I am all wisdom and truth personified. The king said, Why hast thou not appeared to me before this? Why have I been left in the dark as to thy real existence? Answer thou me this, for it is the foundation on which I desire to rest many questions. Okay, love it. Be safe. The spirit said, My son, Tazi, I have been with thee from thy youth up, watching over thee, for thou shalt become the greatest king in all the world. Yea, there are great works for thee to do. And if thou desire to extend thy kingdom, or to gain great battles, I will show thee the way. Or if thou desire another woman to wife, I will find her for thee. The king said, Thou art a great heavenly ruler. I fully believe, but thou answerest not my question. Moreover, thou questionest me about my kingdom and about another woman to wife. and these things are not what I desire of thee. And for the matter of women, I have not yet one wife, consequently I desire not another. The Spirit said, Who sayest thou I am? The king replied, I am at a loss to know if thou art a fool or a devil. And I say that I have either seen one like thee, or else thee through many a magician. Let me read that again. The Spirit said, Who sayest thou I am? The king replied, I am at a loss to know if thou art a fool or a devil. And I say that I have either seen one like thee, or else thee through many a magician. I'm at a loss to know. Hold on, that still didn't make sense to me. I understand that part. I am at a loss to know if thou art a fool or a devil, and I say that I have either seen one like thee, or else thee through many. Okay. The Spirit said, Who sayest thou I am? The king replied, I am at a loss to know if thou art a fool or a devil. And I say that I have either seen one like thee, or else thee through many a magician. But alas, their all knowledge endeth. The Spirit said, Thou saidest thou would pay what the fates decreed. Hear me then, O king. Thou shalt give to Lucin 4 pieces of gold, and after that I will explain all things to thee. The king then cast the 4 pieces of gold to Lucin and demanded the knowledge as promised. The Spirit then said, And on thine oath thou wilt not reveal? The king said, I solemnly swear to reveal naught of what thou teachest me. The Spirit said, Know then, O king, I am Lucin the magician. By long training, the magician attaineth to go out of his own body in spirit, and to appear in any form or shape desired. Wilt thou try me? The king said, Show me the spirit of King Ha-Gausi. The spirit walked back to the body of Lucin, and presently returned before the king, looking like the serpent of Ha-Gausi. The king said, It is like the king. The Spirit answered, Here then, O man, is the end of philosophy. Behold, I am Lucin also. Some men are one spirit, some 2, some 3, and some 4, to one corporal body, and yet there is but one person in fact. The king asked, What becometh of the spirit when the corporal part is dead? The Spirit answered, One of 2 things is possible to every man. His spirit will either dissolve into non-existence and be scattered and void like the air of heaven, like the heat of a fire that is burnt out, or else it will reincarnate itself in the body of a child before it is born, and so on, live over again. Now let us pause there. Let us remember who's talking. We have already established that the doctrine of reincarnation is false, and it is one that has been made up by the Druge, right? By the drudges, by those who have fallen away from the Great Spirit, right? You cannot reincarnate yourself. You can possess, you can oppress, and you can depress humans, but you cannot reincarnate as a new human being before they're born into this world. What they really do is they take over navigation of a body who's already here, right? They put the native spirit, the real spirit, into the sunken place, and then they begin to possess that body. That's what they call reincarnation. You don't live many lives, right? You get one, and this being born here on earth is the beginning. And when you die here, you just move to the next phase, and you will continue growing as that same native spirit. Let's not forget that, okay? Just in case you just dropped in. Verse 44, Thus came all people into the world. A child that is stillborn is one in whose body no spirit reincarnated itself. There are no new creations. The same people live now on the earth that always lived on it, nor will there be any others. They go out of one body when it is old and worn out, and then enter a young one and live over again and again forever. Nor is there more or less unto any man, woman, or child in all the world. We know this, he's still telling a lie, right? Okay. Verse 45, page 452. The king asked, what then is the highest, best thing for a mortal man to do during life? The spirit said, to eat and drink and sleep and rest and enjoy begetting numerous offspring. The king asked, how long would a spirit live if it did not reincarnate itself? The spirit said, if the mortal body is burnt to ashes, then that is the time. If the body be buried and rot and return to the earth, then that is the time. If the body be embalmed and keepeth well, the spirit goeth back in the embalmed body and remaineth till the body is moldered into dust. When the body is moldered into dust or burnt to ashes, then is the spirit set free and ready to either reincarnate itself or dissolve and disappear forever. That's the
Is your clothing hang?
No, I'm not gonna hang clothes on it.
Babe, you hang clothes on everything, every piece of equipment we got.
Listen.
Am I lying?
Only for a few days. Till I get to hanging it up.
What is your considered a few days?
Okay, so, well, nothing will ever be hanging on it because it's going to be in a garage.
You'll figure out a way. I know you will. I really know you. You'll figure out something to put in there to hang something on it.
Look, for real, you walk into the garage, they swim janks hanging on it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No, only because it needed to dry because we didn't have another hook in there, but okay.
You always got an excuse for something. you would never say, you know what, I'm wrong.
You know what?
See,
I'm wrong.
Hold on, what you just say?
I'm wrong.
As soon as you get off a live, you can probably cuss me out and say, you know what, I didn't mean none of that. You know you're going to say that's because you're on live.
Okay, so.
While you're on live, I gotta verify you're good. But soon as that.
Don't be acting like I do that. Don't be acting like I be living double lives.
Soon as that live in, what you do?
Tell me what I do. Since we live, you going to come on.
I'm still here and we talking. What I really meant by what I said when I was on live is, and then you gonna tell me everything.
No, I don't. Okay, y'all. So I got a Stairmaster, right? Look. So I got a treadmill. I do. Well, before we moved into our house, the treadmill, I was hanging a lot of stuff on it. I really was. I was hanging a lot of stuff. I was using it for a big hanger. I just tossed stuff up there, and I would get to it maybe a day, maybe a month or two down the road.
Now we talking. There you go. Get round it up.
Maybe a month or two down the road. And I'm like, let me go ahead and hang this stuff up. So I go get my hangers and I just hang the stuff up, So my husband is not lying. I do be using some of my workout equipment as a extra part of the closet, right? That's my truth. That's my truth.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got the Stairmaster, right? It's one of the little sleek ones, right? So, but I'm going to use it. My plan is to use it, right? I know I'll probably only be able to use it about 2 to 3 minutes a day, but, I'm going to build up the time.
Yeah, you gonna be all right.
Okay. She Brew. Hey, girl. Hey, Brian. Yo, Key. Hey, girl. Hey. Yes, sweetie. Yes. There you go. All right. So let's focus. Yes, I did. I really wanted to get the other one, but it was, I was like, I need to be faithful with using this first. Yeah. Yeah. So.
What did you talk about earlier this morning?
Yeah, this morning I pulled it in before I.
Right? It's all the pieces for it.
Yeah, it's sleek. Yeah.
This thing feel like gonna break.
No, it shouldn't. I did. I read the reviews on it.
Oh, okay. Is it a certain weight limit?
Yeah, it holds up to 600 pounds.
Sheesh, that thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I will give it a try. If not, I'll return it.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all. Page 452. Let's go back.
You want to go work with me?
Okay, 48. I won't reread the false doctrine. We'll pick back up on 48. The king asked, as it is with thee, is it the same with all magicians? The spirit said, thou hast only given 4 pieces of gold. If thou wouldest have more, the price is expensive. The king said, I have told thee I will pay thee whatever the fates decreed. Therefore, proceed. The spirit said, it is even so with all magicians. The king asked, show me now that thou canst preach like chime. The spirit said, thou shalt ask me questions, and I will preach on them. The king asked many questions, and the spirit spake thereon. Finally, the king said, that is sufficient, I will pay thee, go thy way. As for thy preaching and thy doctrines, they are nothing.
What's today?
Now will I send and find another magician, for out of a council with many I shall arrive at the truth. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow is trash day.
Oh,
yeah. All right, y'all. Chapter 27. Page 453. Tezi the king sent for another magician, Wanho, who came and was commanded to exhibit his powers, but he also demanded a high price, which the king agreed to pay, and Wanho exhibited. First he caused a rose to come within a glass bottle whilst it was shut. Then a small serpent he created out of a rod, and caused birds to come and sing to the king. Then changed vinegar into water, then writing on a stone tablet without touching the tablet, and even whilst the tablet lay under the king's foot. Now after he had exhibited many more feats of the like character, he demanded his money, saying, the angels are gone, I can do no more. The king said, and hast thou not power to fetch them back? Wanho said, how much wilt thou give? The king answered, 3 pieces of gold. And Wanho said, in that case, behold, here they come again. Sound like some pastors. And yes, I hear the Lord saying, yes, I hear the Lord saying that tomorrow, like they're holding out their hand like, 4 more dollars. I have $4 more today. Round it off. Verse 3, Wanho said, how much wouldest thou give? The king answered, 3 pieces of gold. And Wanho said, in that case, behold, they are come again. What wouldest thou? The king commanded him to show the spirits of the dead, so he might converse with them. Wanho went into the same place where Lucin had exhibited, and lying down, cast himself in the death trance. Presently, an angel, robed in white, appeared and came and stood before the king, saying, most mighty king, what wouldest thou? Hold on, Pooh. Behold me, I am the goddess OAHSPE, come from my throne in high heaven. And be thou desirous of conquest and war, or to attain great riches, or more wives, most beautiful, then will I, by my most potent will, give unto thee. The king said, I am blessed, O goddess, because thou hast come to see me. But alas, none of these things thou hast mentioned suiteth me. I desire nothing as regardeth this world. Give me light as to the place in heaven where dwelleth King Sequan. The spirit said, was he thy friend or thy enemy? Like, why do I even need to tell you that? Because if you can do this, summon him up, right? They getting prepared on how they need to act, how they need to play this thing out. Look. The spirit said, was he thy friend or thine enemy? The king answered, he was my deadly enemy. The spirit said, because I asked thee, is he thy friend or thine enemy? For I saw one Sequan in hell, writhing in great agony, and yet I saw another Sequan in paradise. So then I will go and fetch him that is in hell. The spirit passed over the corner and presently returned, saying, Oh, devil, horrors, demons, hell, and such like, pretending to be in torments, as if it were Siquan in torments. I told you, it was about to be some crap. Listen, I told y'all he was preparing on what he was about to do, how he needed to act. Was he your friend or was he your enemy, G? Listen. After this, the king called for many different spirits, whether they had ever been or whether fictitious, and they came all the same. Finally, Tezi, the king, said, "Bring me now the wisest God in heaven, for I would question him." So the spirit went again toward the corner and then approached, saying, "Man of earth, because thou hast called me, I have come." The king got to know this is foolery. Listen, man of earth, because thou hast called me, I have come. Know thou when I come and I decree 4 pieces to one ho, my prophet. Know thou when I come and I decree 4 gold pieces to one ho, my prophet. The king said, "Most just God, I will pay him. Tell me now whence cometh man and what is his destiny." The spirit said, "First, then, the air above the earth is full of elementary spirits. The largest are as man's fist, and the smallest are not than the smallest living insect on the earth." Let me read it all again. The spirit said, "First, then, the air above the earth is full of elementary spirits. The largest are as large as a man's fist, and the smallest not larger than the smallest living insect on the earth. Their size denoteth their intelligence, the largest being designed for human beings. These fill all the air of the earth and all the space in the firmament above the earth. They have existed from everlasting to everlasting, for they were without beginning. Now, whilst a child is yet within the womb, one of these elementaries entereth in the child, and straightway there is the beginning of the man. And in like manner, there are all things produced which live on the earth." Now, just in case you just dropped in, listen, remember, he is lying to him. This is not how this happens, right? Look. The king asked, "Before such time when man beginneth, while these elementaries are floating about, do they know anything?" The spirit said, "Many of them have great wisdom and cunning, and are withal great liars and thieves and rascals. Knowest thou one Lucin, a magician?" The king answered, "Yea." And then the spirit said, "Well, Lucin is obsessed by the elementaries, and they are all great liars, pretending to be spirits of the dead. As for myself, I am a most virtuous goddess from the highest heavenly spheres. I tell thee, O king, these elementaries are the curse of the world. They are anxious to be born into life so that they may have souls, and they inspire mortals to paternity and maternity that they may have an opportunity for incarnation." First of all, how can I believe anything else you said? Because first of all, isn't Lucien the whole... Wait, hold on. No, we went to another one. I'm sorry. Hold on. The king sent for another magician. Okay, this one, okay. For a second, I forgot that Lucien not on the scene anymore. He said, "Look, I'm gonna pay you, but your doctrines are nothing." Okay, listen. Let me read this again. All right. The king asked, "Before such a time, before man beginneth, while these elementaries are floating about, do they know anything?" The spirit said, "Many of them have great wisdom and cunning, and are withal great liars and thieves and rascals. Knowest thou one Lucin, a magician?" The king answered, "Yea." And then the spirit said, "Well, Lucin is obsessed by the elementaries, and they are all great liars, pretending to be spirits of the dead. As for myself, you still a liar. You in cahoots with all these magicians." Well, Lucin is obsessed by the elementaries, and they are all great liars, pretending to be spirits of the dead. As for myself, I am a most virtuous goddess from the highest heavenly spheres. I tell thee, O king, these elementaries are the curse of the world. They are anxious to be born into life so that they may have souls, and they inspire mortal to paternity and maternity that they may have an opportunity for incarnation. or they driving them to be sex crazed so that they can possess these bodies of these babies that's coming into the world. Look. The king said, "Thou hast answered well, O goddess. I will pay according to thy decree." And thereupon the spirit departed. King Tezi sent for another magician, Hygal, of the rank of priest, and having bargained with him as to his price for exhibiting, commanded him to proceed. Hygal then exhibited after the same fashion as the others, doing great wonders. And him also did the king command to show the spirits of the dead. Hygal complained about the price, like all y'all that hard up for money. all of these magicians. Hygal complained about the price, but being assured by the king that his demands would be paid, the magician went into the same corner and cast himself in the Holy Ghost trance, and presently a spirit appeared, saying, "Greeting to thee, O king. Whether thou desirest conquest or riches or more women, name thou to me, and I will give abundantly. Know thou I am the spirit of the great Zarathustra." I'm thinking about some of the stuff with King Solomon that I done read about. Listen, look, okay. "Know thou I am the spirit of the great Zarathustra." The king said, "Great Zarathustra, thou art most welcome. But alas, none of these things thou hast named are what I desire. Tell me, O Zarathustra, what is the origin and destiny of man?" The spirit said, "First, then, O king, in days long past, the sun turned round so swiftly it threw off its outer rim, and the rim broke into 1,000,000 pieces, flying every way, and these pieces are the stars and the earth and the moon. And for millions of years, the earth was only a stone, melting hot, but it cooled off in time, and the outer stones on the earth were oxidized, and this made moss. Then the moss died, but the spirit of the moss reincarnated itself, and this made grass. And the grass died, but the spirit of the grass lived and reincarnated itself, and thus made the trees. Then the trees died, but the spirit lived, and it reincarnated and became animals. And they died, but their spirits lived and reincarnated and became man. And after that, the spirit no longer reincarnated itself, but floateth upward into peace, and resteth for a long time. When it finally mergeth back into the sun and is extinct. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me go back. After that, the spirit no longer reincarnated itself, but floateth upward into peace, and resteth for a long time, when it finally mergeth back into the sun and is extinct like a lamp burnt out. The king asked, "How then is it with thyself?" The spirit replied, "I was the original sun god that came away from the sun to take charge of this world. It is in my keeping." The king asked, "Who then is the all first that still stayeth with the sun?" The spirit answered, "Because thou askest many questions, O king, thou shalt pay more money." You stalling, my G, to figure out an answer. "O king, thou shalt pay more money." The king assured the spirit that the money to any amount would be paid. Thereupon the spirit said, "Ahura Ormazd was the original of all, but when the sun threw off its surface, Ahura Ormazd was thrown into pieces, one piece going to every star, save the earth, and I came here of my own accord, because it was larger and better than any other world." The king dismissed the spirit and the priest, and sent for another, a magician also of the rank of priest, Guan Li. And Guan Li, being assured that his price would be paid, proceeded to exhibit also, and he performed feats even like the others. Then the king commanded Guan Li to call the spirits of the dead. The priest apologized about the expense of the death trance, Holy Ghost power. We definitely using this in today's title. I might get a nasty, nice gram about blaspheming. a nice, nasty gram about blaspheming the Holy Ghost. but I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. The priest apologized about the expense of the death trance, Holy Ghost power, but being further assured that his demands would be paid, he went into the corner and cast himself into the swoon, stiff and cold. Presently, an angel appeared, saying, "Behold me, O king, I am Brahma." They going through the whole list. I can, listen, I know what happened. All these doctrines that were created, they got the story from when the false gods began to appear. They completely disregarded the true lives of all these men and women that they are naming and have taken the names of. And all this foolery is what they got, and they bundled up and gave to the masses, right? That's why people believe in this foolish doctrine of reincarnation, the I of myself, who almost got caught up in it, right? Father, help us all. verse 22, page 454. The priest apologized about the expense of the death trance, Holy Ghost power, but being further assured that his demands would be paid, he went into the corner and cast himself into the swoon, stiff and cold. Presently, an angel appeared, saying, "Behold me, O king, I am Brahma. And if thou desirest conquest and war or greater riches or more women, I will grant unto thee. I can tell thee of hidden treasures and of rich mines and of women greatly to be desired. Also, I can tell thee how thy armies can overcome thy enemies with great slaughter." The king said, "I am delighted, O Brahma, but I desire none of which thou hast mentioned. Tell me of the origin and destiny of man." The spirit said, "Know then, O king, all things alive have two parts, the corporal and the spiritual. All dead things are but one, which is the spirit. Thou, O king, wert first a stone, a very large stone, and when it moldered into dust, thy soul went into silver, a very large piece. But when the silver rusted away, thy soul went into gold, and when the gold was worn away, thy soul began to run into vegetable life, and after that it ran into animal life, and then into a low order of man, and then into a high order of man, as thou now art. Thus came man up from the beginning, reincarnating himself over and over, higher and higher and higher. And when he is perfected in spirit as thou art, he never more returneth to reincarnate himself." The king asked, "What doth the spirit after leaving this world?" The spirit replied, "Thou shalt then meet thy sexual partner, thy soul wife, and shall do nothing ever after but have sexual indulgence, peopling the spirit realms with delightful spiritual offspring." I'm thinking about this comment I want to make. Maybe I should just keep reading. Hold on, I gotta highlight this foolishness. I'm not highlighting it to remember it, but I need to. About foolishness. I gotta be able to find this again when I'm looking for it. Okay. The king said, "It is well, thou hast a wonderful doctrine." Thereupon the spirit departed, and the priest also. And the king sent for still another priest, Tessin, a Brahmin prophet. And the king asked him, "What seest thou for thy king?" The priest said, "By the rights of my order, I cannot disclose any of the secrets of heaven or earth until thou hast paid the price of indulgence, which is 2 pieces of gold." So the king paid him. Tessin said, "You know what? Listen, hold on. I'm wondering. I ain't read ahead. Listen, I'm wondering if this is still Lucin, who is, because remember, we already know he can disguise himself as different people. I'm wondering if all these magicians he's calling is Lucin in fact, right? Gathering up all this money. I don't know. We're going to keep reading. We'll see. Y'all might know already if y'all read ahead. Okay, verse 26, page 454. Talay, girl, hey. The king said, "It is well, thou hast a wonderful doctrine." Thereupon the spirit departed, and the priest also. And the king sent still for another priest, testing a Brahmin prophet. And the king asked him, "What seest thou for thy king?" The priest said, "By the rights of my order, I cannot disclose any of the secrets of heaven or earth until thou hast paid the price of indulgence, which is 2 pieces of gold." So the king paid him. Testing said, "And thou desire riches, or success in war, or new wives, speak thou, and I will grant unto thee according to the price." And the king said, "Alas, you know something?" Oh, y'all. Look. Okay, I hate to keep jumping off, but so all my research, bruh, I hope y'all not using the magic books. Listen, going through this, listen to what he's saying, and because I told y'all before I purchased a whole library of magic books, not to practice magic, but just to look through and make sure I can recognize when it's being done, make sure I ain't being further fooled into something, right? And I've even tested a couple things, and of a certainty, they work, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, Father, we're gonna put this away. I ain't trying to get caught up in this, but I was being led to it. So, but okay, now I know it exists and I know it works. I done took the books from my son and we put them away, right? Listen. Oh, I put them up here. They ain't messing with them. So, but now that I'm thinking through all of them books and the different things that's being offered to man, it is always these 3 categories, right? I'm like, holy crap. Like that literally just clicked while thinking about this. They're offering him the same thing, whether it's money, sex, or is money, sex, and power. All the way around. You might as well just put them in them 3 categories, right? Because you go to war for power, to lord over whatever, to take lands, all that stuff. Even down to people even taking other people's possessions or rising up in the ranks and all that. Same thing. Money, sex, and power. And it's just clicking all of the books that I went through. It's offering you the same thing. It worded different. Some of the spells are different, but they still fall in those 3 categories. Mom. Stay away from them. Yes, babe. Oh, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I put it on 20 seconds, so while I'm waiting for that to get done. Yes, I like what Tabitha said. We must at all times prove these spirits to show themselves worthy and approved. Yo. All right, hold on. Yes, sigils, bronze yogi, yo.
No, just 1 minute.
Okay, there you go. I got all kinds of stuff. Now I'm just like, I might need to go and just take them off my bookshelf and make sure. But I got all of them in my research and of all this stuff. And I kid you not, the stuff works. It works. At least the smaller ones, I ain't do casting no spells like hurting nobody, but just testing little different things just to see if is this crap or did I just really waste my money? Like, look, the magicians, it's a little pricey. You want to find this out, right? Look, so I paid the money for it just to see it. I'm like, holy crap, it works. But I'm like, I still feel some type of way. I don't think we're supposed to be doing this, right? Not that I was doing it to make it a part of my life, but I was really testing things to see. But there is a whole group of our people out here that they're using the good angel magic books, right? Yeah, tarot's in there too. They're using the good angel magic books. And it will work. It will work. But in the end, I'm almost certain today that it's going to end up getting you off and leading you down the wrong path somewhere. Like I felt like I needed to get it. I ain't going to say it was y'all leading me to it, but it was such a strong pull towards it that I got it and I looked into it. But as I went through it and even tested some of the things, I was like, okay, this is the thing. This works. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sit it to the side because I don't know. Because especially the money spells, y'all. Listen, especially the money spells. When you get a little taste of the money spell and it works for you, it can easily get you off. And now you're constantly trying to summon angels or the good angels to help you manifest money and stuff. It will completely turn you away from the Creator, right? And now you're going to be dependent on these angels, right? The ancestors, whatever you want to label them. You're going to start talking to them more than you are talking to the Creator. And when you're now, your attention is taken off the Creator and you're purposely seeking out angels or other entities to help you get stuff, you're going to get something in there that's going to lead you astray. I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all. Listen. Okay. So let's go back. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Listen. Let me go up here to 26. Hold on. Do I need to go back up that far? No, let me go to 28. Okay. Verse 28, page 454. Tessing said, the first of all was Brahma, which was round like an egg. Then Brahma, hold on, no, I think I skipped. I don't even think I read one. Okay, let's go back to 26. The king said, it is well, thou hast a wonderful doctrine. Thereupon the spirit departed, and the priest also. And the king sent for still another priest, Tessing, a Brahmin prophet. And the king asked him, what seest thou for thy king? The priest said, by the rights of my order, I cannot disclose any of the secrets of heaven, or earth, until thou hast paid the price of indulgence, which is 2 pieces of gold. So the king paid him. Tessing said, and thou desire riches, or success in war, or new wives, speak thou, and I will grant unto thee according to the price. The king said, alas, Tessing, I desire none of these indulgences. Tell me the origin and destiny of man, for I would learn why I am, and the object and end. Tessing said, the first of all was Brahma, which was round like an egg. Then Brahma broke open, and the shell was in 2 halves, and one half was the sky, and the other half was the earth. Then Brahma incarnated himself in the earth, but he came not up as only one, as he expected, but he came up in 10 millions and 1 million parts, and every part was a living thing, a tree or a plant or a fish or a bird or a beast or a man. And this is all there is or was or ever shall be. But Brahma looked over the world, and he saw that some men were good and some evil. And he said, I will separate the good from the evil, and that justice might be done. He called all the nations and tribes of men before him, and when they were come, he said unto them, whoever delighteth in the earth, it shall be his forever. And though he die, his spirit shall have power to reincarnate itself in another unborn child, and so live over and over again, and so on forever. And he shall have great indulgence in the earth, in eating and drinking, and with women, and in all manner of delights, for they shall be his forever. But whosoever delighteth in spirit shall be blessed in spirit. He shall not after death reincarnate himself and live over again, but shall dwell forever in heaven and have heavenly delights. But since heavenly delights are not after the manner of earthly delights, then shall the spiritual chooser not live like earth people, but he shall live secluded, and shall torment his flesh with fastings and with castigations. Neither shall he marry or live with woman, nor beget children, nor have any indulgence on the earth whatsoever, save merely to live. For the earth is not his, nor is he of the earth. And the more he tortureth the flesh, the higher shall be his bliss in heaven. Now when Brahma had stated the 2 propositions unto the children of the earth, he further added, choose ye now which ye will, for after ye have chosen, behold, there is the end. So remember, before we even finish, this is not the true, real Brahma talking. This is a false god, a false spirit speaking, acting like he's Brahma, giving this foolish crap he's spewing to the king. All right. Jamil, look, girl. Oh, I could share some stories with y'all. I'm going to save some of them for down the road. When Brahma had stated the two propositions unto the children of the earth, he further added, choose ye now which ye will, for after ye have chosen, behold, there is the end. For ye that choose the earth shall be of the earth, even unto all succeeding generations. But whosoever chooseth heaven, to him and his heirs it shall be final and forever. Thereupon mortals made choice, and lo and behold, nearly all of them chose the earth. But in thousands of years and millions of years afterward, Brahma, repentant of his former decree, for he saw the earth became too full of people, and they were sinful beyond bounds. Remember, this is not the real Brahma. This is a liar. And Brahma sent a flood of waters and destroyed 1,000,000,000 times 10 millions of them. And he sent Zarathustra into the world to give new judgment. Zarathustra opened the door of heaven anew, saying, whoever after this chooseth Brahma and will torture his flesh and hateth the earth and live away from the world, him will I save from the earth and from hell also, for I am very efficient and influential with the Creator. Such then, O King, is the origin and destiny of man. Some are born for the earth forever, and some are born for heaven. Nevertheless, the way is open unto all to choose which they will, heaven or earth. And so this liar is done talking. Who we at? We at an hour. Let's read one more chapter. Chapter 28. Page 455. Tezi pursued his researches for a long while, and with many prophets, magicians, seers, and priests. Afterward he said, all is vanity, all is falsehood. No man hath answered me aright as to the origin and destiny of man. Even the angels, or whatsoever they are, can only inform me of the things of earth. They only see as man seeth. And it may be true that these angels are nothing more than Lucen said, i.e., the spirit of the magician only. Because his body entereth this trance, it seemeth reasonable. Now, therefore, I will put a stop to these magicians and priests. They are no good under the sun, right? Because you can't talk about something where you ain't never been, my G. So a lot of what they was getting is coming from the angels or the spirits who have only ascended to the first realm, which is Hada, right? And all of them, all they really know is Hada and earth. That's it. They can't really answer anything for you. Nothing at all. Nothing of the higher heavens, right? They say, all y'all fools, you can't give me any more wisdom than what we already know, what we could get down here ourselves. Right? Because they're in darkness. Listen. Verse 2. All is vanity. All is falsehood. No man hath answered me aright as to the origin and destiny of man. Even the angels, or whatsoever they are, can only inform me of the things of earth. They only see as man seeth. And it may be true that these angels are nothing more than Lucen said, i.e., the spirit of the magician only. Because his body entereth this trance, it seemeth reasonable. Now therefore, I will put a stop to these magicians and priests, for they are of no good under the sun. So Tezi issued a decree covering his own province, commanding magicians and priests to quit the province under penalty of death, and they thus departed out of his dominions. Now it so happened that in 5 other great provinces, the kings did precisely the same and about the same time. So remember, we knew this was about to start happening because I think it was at the end of the book of Liga. I think it was the book of Liga. Don't quote me, but we found out. I ain't gonna go looking for it, but remember he was talking about, they was asking about like when we was talking about the Torah is burnt, why they keep burning all the holy books, right? And the Creator Jehovah said, if I didn't allow man to burn the books, you guys would keep looking backwards, right? He said, I want you to pay attention now. Talk to me now. What they had back then was for them then. What I allowed them to do was for that generation, for that time. Now we've transitioned into a new time, and we need some new things to happen for this generation. So I'm going to allow all the holy books to be burnt. And they steady crying out, oh, y'all, your Torah is burnt. Y'all steady looking back to what your ancestors did. You're going to find yourself in the same place your ancestors found themselves. Stop it. You know what? Burn all the books. You know what? We're going to raise up the kings to start burning up everything. So it's going to teach them to look to me alone and cry out to me right now. Not going, well, let's see what Moses said about that, shall we? Oh, y'all, you ain't lining up with what Moses said. And we followed the Mosaical law. Okay, so yeah, burn all them books, please. I completely get it. Okay. Verse 3, page 455. Now, therefore, I will put a stop to these magicians and priests. They are of no good under the sun. So Tezi issued a decree covering his own province, commanding magicians and priests to quit the province under the penalty of death, and they thus departed out of his dominions. Now it so happened that in 5 other great provinces, the kings did precisely the same and about the same time. And these were the provinces to wit, Sanji under King Lungwan, Ga under King Loaki, Sabinso under King Akaung, Galgu under King Tesiyong, and these provinces comprise, the chief part of Japheth. Look, they still doing the same thing in China. China said, look, we don't want this foolishness here. You know what? We are outlawing Christianity under the penalty of death. Like, I completely look at China in a whole different way now, right? And in regards to this, I'm like, you know what? They've done a good thing. You still got Christians holding on. Oh, this doctrine, we need this because this is how Jesus saved us, right? Oh my gosh, pray for the Christians in China. They got to go underground to worship Jesus. You doggone right. Stop the madness, people. Stop it. The Creator's allowing this to happen. Listen, clear this crap up. This is 2022. They still doing the same. Yeah, send them underground. Somebody need to say something. Look, let me keep reading. Galgu under King Tesiyong, and these provinces comprised the chief part of Japheth. And all these kings issued edicts after the same manner, so that the magicians and seers and priests were obliged to abandon their callings or go beyond these provinces where dwelt barbarians. Jehovah commanded Chine to go before King Tezi, and when he had come, the king said unto him, some years since I heard thee, and thou wert profound. I am delighted that thou hast come before me again, that I may question thee. Chine said, when thou heardest me before, the Great Spirit spake through me. Now I am well learned, and he commanded me to speak of my own knowledge. Ooh.
Mommy.
Yes, baby.
You can come to work with us, please.
Dad say you can go to work with him today? He taking all y'all with him? Or just you? See, because I got to take Jeremiah to school for open house.
I have to go with Dad.
Okay, listen.
You can come with us, please.
I don't know. I'll talk to Dad in a minute. Hold on. Listen to this, y'all. Verse 6. I was about to say something. Chine said, when thou heardest me before, the Great Spirit spake through me. Now I am well learned, and he commanded me to speak of my own knowledge. How many people would actually be willing to step out and just speak out on their own knowledge without feeling like they have to add thus saith the Lord on top of it, right? That's immaturity right there. That is immaturity. Or you feel like in order to get across what you need to add some credentials on it as I said so. Me, Pam, based on my information, my knowledge and research up until today, this is what I am saying. And I ain't adding thus saith the Lord into it, nor y'all said it either. I said it, right? Listen, take full responsibility for your learning and your research, people. Listen, okay, I'm gonna keep going. Verse 6, page 455. Chine said, when thou heardest me before, the great spirit. Remember, Chine is a true, just in case you forgot, because we went through all these magicians. Chine is a real OAHSPE. He is a real servant of the Most High. Chine said, when thou heardest me before, the great spirit spake through me. Now I am well learned, and he commanded me to speak of my own knowledge. First, then, I am a man, as thou art, yet every man hath a different work. Thou art king of this province, and I am told, moreover, thou art good and wise. I hope thou art. Otherwise, my words will not please thee. As for myself, I was sent into the world to mark out this land and name it China, Chine land, or what we know today as China, right? And to establish anew those that accept the Great Spirit. For China and her people shall remain a different country and a different people from all the world. Know then, O King, I come not in vain boasting that I, Chine, am much or can do much. On the contrary, I say unto thee, I am one of the weakest of men, and yet I have more power than any other man in the world. And yet, mark thee, of myself is there nothing whereof to boast, for I am but as a tool in the hands of Jehovah, or Maz, and not I myself do anything, but he through me. I look upon thee and see thou hast been questioning magicians and priests, and thou art unsatisfied. Know then, O King, this is thine error, in not magnifying thy judgment. Thou hast worked with magicians who are under the power of angels of the first resurrection, or the angels who reside in the levels of Hada, the lowest level of heaven, right? Which is considered hell. It's not under you, it's above you, my G, right? Thou hast worked with magicians who are under the power of angels of the first resurrection, and even angels below them. All such angels teach their own individual understanding. As wandering individuals they go about, and their miracles are of the same order, merely individual miracles. He whom I teach worketh miracles, not in a small corner, but in the affairs of kingdoms and nations, not through magicians only, but through kings and queens, and even through common people. Thou thyself art an instrument in his hand. Behold, in the same time thou issuest thy decree against magicians and asceticism. Even in that same time, 5 other great kings do the same thing. This is a miracle indeed. No man can counterfeit his miracles. Neither flatter thyself that such matters occur by accident. They do not occur by accident, but by Jehovah. For his angels in the second resurrection are organized and work in mighty armies. Tezi said, thou art great, Chime, or else thy sudden philosophy turneth my brain. Go on. How shall we know first that there are angels who are really the spirits of the dead? Second, how shall we distinguish betwixt the first and second resurrections? Let's highlight this myself. This is good. Chime said, only by seeing and hearing with the natural eyes and ears, and with the spiritual eyes and ears, can any man attain to know anything, either on earth or in heaven. When the senses are pure and clear, then a man knoweth that the spirits of the dead do live. For I declare, O King, of a truth, that the spirit of my body hath emerged from my body on many occasions, sometimes going subjectively and sometimes objectively, right? Remember, so we learned about the body going subjectively and objectively, right? Subjectively, I think I remember that's being able to go out of the body, like astral projection, out of body experiences, and objectively, you just walking around with your flesh, right? You can get in the car and drive, right? There's 2 different ways we can travel. Neither is this a special creation to me only, but it is that which thousands and tens of thousands can attain by discipline. Ooh.
Mom,
Yes, baby.
We're going to karate night.
Yes, karate today. Yes. Touching the first and second resurrections, know thou, O King, spirits that depose individual things or earthly things, or propose riches or personal gain or marriage, discanting to this man or that man as to what is good for him as an individual, spirits giving great names, professing to be this or that great person long since dead. All such are deceivers, and they have not advanced beyond the first resurrection. Keep that in mind, people. Anybody come to you saying that they are a great king of the past and they come to give you wisdom? Yeah, Brian Jogi. They on the left-handed path, or you walking that left-handed path. You better find yourself, get off that road. Listen, that's how you can recognize them. Listen, let me read it again, verse 16. Magic, they call magic the left-handed path. Yeah, you want to not really go down that route. You may want to understand that you have to. If the creator's leading you to learn about it a little bit, then there's a reason for it, so you can recognize it. You might have some work with helping some people wake up that, hey, this is the wrong way to go, right? Listen. Hold on. Dang, I wonder how many of us astral projected. I know I have a lot as a kid, only a few times as an adult. Yeah, we do a lot. I've learned how to do it on purpose, right? I can do it on purpose. But you got to be careful with it, people. Some people do it on purpose just to go do nefarious stuff and to go engage into sexual orgies. Like, that's a thing. It really is a thing. It really is a thing. Don't do that. Don't get caught up in those groups, right? They learn. It's like a new. Everybody can do it, but everybody is not disciplined enough to learn about it. Some people been spooked out about it, but it is literally a natural thing that the Creator has given to us all to do. We all have the ability to do it for growing purposes. It will help you grow, right? But some people, they just don't get my left-handed family in a frenzy. Listen, but some people, you just got to be careful, right? Just walk closely with the Creator while you're going through that. And listen, that I shared with y'all, they done removed it. They removed it off of YouTube. I had a playlist where you could go. Remember we was learning about Robert Monroe. Remember we was going through My Big Toe? And he was telling you scientifically how every single human being alive can astral project. They don't call it astral projecting. Have out-of-body experiences. They literally hook them up to medical equipment, testing, looking at stuff. They did little different projects, put things in other rooms across the world, having them go like all the medical, everything. The CIA, we read through the CIA document a few months ago with them talking about this, right? And this is a thing, but a lot of the church spook you out about it. You don't need to be spooked out about it. It's listen, I was in a lot of deep thought yesterday. Our bodies are gifts. They're literally like instruments for us to learn how to, our spirits should learn how to use while we're here. Remember, because we're spirits who have bodies. These bodies are truly like instruments and gifts to learn how to manipulate the elements here on this realm. This is like the first level of school for all the spirits coming here. If you screw around your time here and you don't learn how to engage your instrument and learn what it can do and how it can benefit you spiritually and your spiritual growth, you just get behind the ball because you don't get another one. This is the only time you get this. Listen, no, let me not say that. You get this gift, right? But it's not the only time you will get it, because if you raise up high enough while you're here in the flesh, you will be able to learn how to manipulate the elements. And when you graduate from this realm and you physically die here, meaning you are truly born in the next realm, by the time you get there, you should have learned how to manifest a body when need be, right? You should be able to sargus. They call it sargus. You should be able to sargus, create things, right? You should at least gotten that far. But we've gotten so far off the beaten path that all this information has come back seeming like it's new to us, right? Listen. Hold on, let me find my spot. Hold on. But yeah, y'all, this is really, really interesting. I would just say, just make sure you're walking with the Creator while you're going through this, because there is no, let's just say there is no lack of shenanigans and opportunities to pull you off the right path with people who have lost their bodies and are ready and willing to take you in as one of their students, right? And if you let them talk to you, one of the ones who have not stayed on the great creator's path of light, you might find yourself hovering around in that first resurrection, my G. We don't want to do that because you can go from here right to the second resurrection, not the first, not the first, not the first. That's where all the shenanigans happen at, right? So let's go back. Verse 16, page 456. Touching the first and second resurrections, know thou, O king, spirits that depose individual things or earthly things or propose riches or personal gain or marriage, descanting to like all these things can be found in marriage, but these things are given here, like it's an abundance here. These are angels from or humans from the first resurrection that want to show you how to get to hotter. Stay away from it. I mean, you can learn about it so you can recognize it. That's why I tell you that if you want to look into it to be able to recognize it, to stay out of those pit holes, out of them traps, right? Be able to recognize it, step over the trap, keep going, right? And let other people know, point it out so you can help them, but they're going to have the opportunity to either fall into the trap or step over the trap, be able to see it, recognize it. Yep, I learned about that. We don't want to go that way. Some people going to go headlong into it and they just, I thought everybody must go through the first heavens. I don't know. We still learning. Listen, but the first heaven is the shenaniganizing level, right? Listen, though, I think with Brahma, if I remember correctly, when the real Brahma passed, and I want to say Zarathustra, angels from the second resurrection or the second heaven or higher came to get them. Nobody from the first resurrection. That if I remember that correctly, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's read this. Verse 16, page 456. Touching the first and second resurrections, know thou, O king, spirits that depose individual things or earthly things or propose riches or personal gain or marriage, descanting to this man or that man as to what is good for him as an individual, spirits giving great names, professing to be this or that great person, long since dead. All such are deceivers and have not advanced beyond the first resurrection. They deny the I am, the great spirit, the all person. Their highest heaven is re-engraftment on mortals and reveling in lust.
Mom!
Yes, what is the problem?
I my problem.
Isaiah Messiah. Give her stuff. Go. And your dad, like you just walk right past your dad. Go in the room where dad is located. Let him know. Go ahead.
No.
Well then, don't stay here and cry to me. Listen. They deny the I am, the great spirit, the all person. Their highest heaven is re-engraftment on mortals and reveling in lust, or it is re-engraftment. They will tell you it's reincarnation, but it's re-engrafting yourself. Hold on one second. No. You must be close. Bang! You might be in the shower. Isaiah, give her stuff. And don't you come down here running hollering no more. They deny let me just read the whole, let me keep it all together. Verse 16, page 456. Touching the first and second resurrections, know thou, O king, spirits that depose individual things, right, are all about me, I, right? Know thou, O king, spirits that depose individual things or earthly things or propose riches or personal gain or marriage, decanting to this man or that man as to what is good for him as an individual. Spirits giving great names, professing to be this or that great person, long since dead. All such are deceivers and have not advanced beyond the first resurrection. They deny the I am, the great spirit, the all person. Their highest heaven is re-engraftment on mortals and reveling in lust. They flatter thee, telling thee thou wert this or that great man in a former reincarnation. They labor thee to make profit to their own magician. They are without truth or virtue and of little wisdom. The second resurrection, I like this. Make sure we know the difference between the two, people. We got to learn here before we go. Look, I think they went straight to paradise, but Moses had to come and deal with the curse he put on Pharaoh. Yeah, I think, definitely. I think, you definitely can bypass the first resurrection, especially if you're walking with the Creator. You definitely, somebody from the second resurrection or higher is going to come help escort you, make sure you don't get caught up in the first resurrection down here in the wrong place, right? Yeah. So a lot of people, I would like to say a lot of people, but it's a lot of people that ain't get past first resurrection. All right. The second resurrection cometh not to an individual as an individual, it cometh as an army. But not to an individual, but to a kingdom, a nation, a community. For as such, angels belong to organized communities in heaven, so doth that organization work with virtuous organizations of mortals. This is wisdom, O king, to get away from the individual self, to become one with an organization, to work with the great spirit for the resurrection of men, right? For men, not just for yourself. Help raise up your brethren and your sisterin. This is wisdom, O king, to get away from the individual self, to become one with an organization, to work with the great spirit for the resurrection of men. For as thou makest thyself one with many to this end, so laboreth the Father with thee and them. As thou keepest thyself as an individual self, so do individual angels come to thee as individuals. Individual answereth to individual. The first resurrection to the first, the second to the second. Moreover, the all person is over all, and worketh each in its own order unto a great purpose. Think not, O king, I am making a new doctrine. I am but declaring that which was also proclaimed to the ancients. And as many as come forward and have faith were called Jehovah's chosen people, because forsooth they chose him. There. In contradistinction from him, two philosophies have run parallel, which are darkness and evil. One saith the all is not a person, being void, and less than even the parts thereof. The other saith only the all high is the great angel I worship, who is as a man and separate from all things. These comprise the foundation of all the doctrines in the world, or that have ever been or ever will be. The latter is idolatry, which is evil. The second, unbelief, which is darkness. And the first is faith, truth, love, wisdom, and peace. Under these three heads are all men classified by Jehovah and his angels. Let me read that again. Verse 23. These comprise the foundation of all the doctrines in the world, or that have ever been or ever will be. The latter is idolatry, which is evil. The second, unbelief, which is darkness. And the first is faith, truth, love, wisdom, and peace. Idolatry, unbelief, and faith, truth, love, wisdom, and peace. Under these three heads are all men classified by Jehovah and his angels. Hopefully we all will be found in that first classification, which says faith, truth, love, wisdom, and peace. Under these three heads are all men classified by Jehovah and his angels, and they may be likened unto three men looking across a field. One seeth the light, and knoweth he seeth it. Another hopeth he seeth it, but he only seeth a white leaf. But the third seeth nothing at all. As a witness, therefore, the latter is worthless. The second is a circumstantial witness, but the first is positive, and standeth the highest and firmest of all. He knoweth his heavenly Father. He seeth him in the flowers, in the clouds, and in the sunshine, in the fruits and herbs, and in the beasts of the field, and in every creeping thing, and in the stars and moon and earth and sun, in sickness and health, in sorrow and in rejoicing. Verily he findeth Jehovah in all things. He knoweth Jehovah's eye and ear are forever upon him, and he walketh upright in fear, but in truth and faith and pride and rejoicing. Tezi, the king asked, tell me, O Chime, what is the origin and destiny of man? Chime said, the ever-present quickeneth him into life in his mother's womb, and he is then and there a new creation. His spirit is from the spirit Jehovah, and his body from the earth. A dual being, the Father created him. His destination is everlasting resurrection. Listen, we forever progress, right? We forever progress. Now, none of these shenaniganizing musicians told him that, right? Even the Bible will tell you in places, because if you go back to some of my older videos, I said it a lot. I wish I hadn't said it, but I was ignorant. I didn't know. But now that I know,
Mom,
listen.
I can have your receipts.
Tootie,
Please.
leave it alone.
Please.
I shouldn't be eating it, but you can split it with your brethren.
Yes.
Give everybody one. After my Reese cups. I shouldn't be eating them anyway. I really shouldn't. Let me get back to this. Look, okay. Hold on. Oh, I lost what I was about to say. Hold on. Tazy, King, Mother's Womb, Resurrection. Oh, that's what I was about to say. Okay, yeah. It's a 4-pack. Give everybody one. Okay, so in the Bible, it tells you, and I didn't start saying this until I converted from Christianity, and I was moving through the Hebrew roots and going through Torah and stuff, and right, and saying we inherit the earth, right? You don't necessarily want to inherit the earth, my G. If you inherit the earth, that means you stop progressing, and it's possibly you're going to degrade to one of the lowest states because you ain't moving nowhere. This is like I like OAHSPE College University said, it's like going back to kindergarten over and over and over again. First of all, you look absolutely ridiculous. People walk in not knowing that you the class clown, walk in, and they start addressing you like the teacher to everybody. Like, that ain't the teacher, that's a student. What? Why your big tail still in this class? You look foolish. You shouldn't be here. Everybody knows you shouldn't be here. Keep growing, right? That's the doctrine we inherit the earth. That's what that's like. That's what I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm gonna leave the video up so people can see how I don't know. I just leave it up. Right? I did have a problem with leaving it up because I'm like, I don't want to be out here, I don't want nobody to see this. But there's a constant progression with me, so where you can see where I've personally transitioned in my learning. Some people are like, well, you used to teach this, now you're teaching this. I was like, have you really been paying attention to what I've been saying in my videos? I would tell you that at this point, I believe this. I no longer believe this, and this is why, right? Because I got a little bit more information, which I deem to be a higher truth from the great creator. Now, this is what I believe, and I try my best to line my life up with the truth so I can stay in sync with the creator, because I don't want to find myself trapped here forever, right? Don't want to, right? So it's a good teaching aid. You catch all the shenanigans and the height of my ignorance. You just got to keep watching the videos or skip to the end to find out where I'm at. I'm still growing there too, but listen, look, okay. Let's go back. Verse 26. Tezi, the king, asked, tell me, and we almost done. We're on 26. It's 33 verses, and we're going to pause after this. Tezi, the king, asked, tell me, O Chime, what is the origin and destiny of man? Chine said, the ever-present quickeneth him into life in his mother's womb, and he is then and there a new creation. His spirit is from the Spirit Jehovah, and his body from the earth, a dual being, the Father created him. His destination is everlasting resurrection, in which matter man can have delightful labor as he riseth upward forever and ever. The king asked, if Jehovah is the all-time creating. Oh, I said it wrong. The king asked, if Jehovah is all the time creating, will not the firmament become too full of angels? Chine said, 1,000 men read a book, and yet that book is no fuller of the ideas than the first. That's good. The king asked, if Jehovah is all the time creating, will not the firmament become too full of angels? Chine said, 1,000 men read a book, and yet that book is no fuller of ideas than at first. The corporal man is not divisible, and so filleth a place. Thought, which may be likened unto the soul, is the opposite of this. 10,000 men may love thy flower garden, yet thy garden is no fuller because of their love. Exalted souls in the upper heavens are without bulk and substance, and even so are the regions they inhabit as compared to corporal things. The king said, I would that I wert as thou art. For which matter, if thou wilt use thy wand and make me even half as wise, I will give away all my kingdom. Chine said, thou canst not bargain for faith, or purchase it, Chine said, thou canst not bargain for faith, or purchase it as a coat or as sandals. And yet, until faith is attained, there is no resurrection. No bird ever flew from its nest without first having faith it could fly. And when thou hast faith, thou wilt cast away thy kingdom and choose heavenly treasures instead. Until thou hast attained faith, thou wilt retain thy kingdom. This is a judgment unto the rich man in the same way. Wow. Riches and a king's kingdom may be likened to balls of gold tied to a man's feet in deep water. He cannot rise until he cutteth himself loose and cast away all that which bindeth him. So also are men bound in spirit, and until they put their own hands to the matter, there is no resurrection for them. Woo! Wow, I like that in a different color. Wow, this was amazing. Okay, y'all. We definitely went over the time today. We're at 1 hour and 37 minutes. But I wanted to finish. I had to keep all of that together while reading, because we couldn't have just left off with all the magician shenanigans. Especially when I saw Chine was up next. Yeah, we got to read about Chine and the wisdom, right? Okay. So with that being said, beautiful people, thank y'all for hanging out today. It is Wednesday, August the 17th. 2022, day 188 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1206. We read in the Ark of Bond, pages 450 to 456. Father, teach us to apply the wisdom that we learn daily and diligently, even as Chine did as he grew, and help us to walk in faith, to speak the truth that we learn and not how to add thus saith the Lord onto it. But let us walk in faith, knowing that we're walking with you. All right, beautiful people. So check real quick. No questions on Facebook. I think I said, hey, everybody over there. All right. Man, I can't even go to a church anymore. Can you share that video that they took down? Oh, that's what I was saying. Yep, that's what I was saying. I had lost my train of thought. Robert Monroe. I'm glad I had my uncle pull, because he has, I'm going to have to ask him how he did it. I'm going to have to, if I re-upload it, it's the, it teaches you how to, let's just say astral project, right? But it gives you all the medical science behind it. If you read Robert Monroe's book, that's one of the ones that was on a book list that I highly recommend it. We didn't get into it, but we read through My Big Toe, where we got a lot of the medical and scientific proof on how the body does this, and even how the military still uses it today, right? To steal secrets and stuff from other governments. They're using this. They know the bodies can do this, right? They know how to infiltrate you, my G. By doing this, they know how to do it, but you in the dark and you don't. And Robert Monroe, their university is here in Virginia, right? But anyway, they have all the science. If you get his books, he has 3 books. It's a trilogy. And it's pretty much giving you the experience, like all the out-of-body experiences he had. It'll give you way more information than My Big Toe did, which introduced us to Robert Monroe. But he lets you know how all this came about and all the different things. That's why a lot of stuff, I'm not sure if dude read OAHSPE or what, but the things that he experienced out of body, learning about different things, all that is included. But it's really good. But he developed a program out of all of their years of training and testing all this, the scientific proof. They literally created a program to show you how to do it safely and walk you through it, just learning the ins and outs of how to, have out-of-body experiences, right? You can test all the things and be aware of things, but all that's there. So I'll see. I don't think anybody else, because I checked. The last time I checked, it was last week, and nobody else has re-uploaded it. I'm gonna see if I can re-upload it, because before they pulled it, and it was the entire course. It's 6 different waves. Within each wave is 6 individual waves within one wave, and that's called wave 1, which are like the lessons, and it takes you through it, right? I have all of them downloaded to my laptop, but you can actually just go and purchase it directly from them. It's about $1,200, but you can go to their website, and it's there for purchase. You can do that, which I believe YouTube took it down because possible copyright infringements and stuff, right? So what I will do, if y'all want it, I don't necessarily, I think I may, even if I change the names of it, I think once they find it, I may incur a strike, and it could possibly kill my channel. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be forced to go to my backup channel, right? So if you want it, email me and I would email you the files, right? Okay. So Tikva, I know you want it. So if y'all want it, just send me an email and I'll email it to you, right? All right, beautiful people. With that being said, thank y'all for hanging out. Bella, you can come on and end this, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think she left out to go today, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it. All right, y'all. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Remember, if you want it, email me, or you can just go right to the site, Robert Monroe, and I'll post it for y'all a little bit later. If you want to just go ahead and purchase it yourself, you can. All right. And I send it to you for free. I feel like I can share it with you because I ain't trying to get paid off of it or nothing. But, if you just want to purchase it, go purchase it directly from them. But you take it, if you're going to use it, learn and grow. I love y'all. See y'all tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.